Alrighty guys, so since y'all loved this first person view video so much, I figured why not just do another one. So here we are, got to hook up the trailer today. Gonna go deliver 4 tons of Alabama Sunset, so pretty rock. Honestly, I think Alabama Sunset's starting to become one of my favorites. It's just a real pretty rock. You know, there's other rocks too. You got River Rock that's real pretty, and you know, every rock's different. You know, if I think I did a short, I didn't end up taking any video of us doing a project a couple weeks ago. Sorry, this is a lot off track, but man, on these new Rams, the sensor right here picks up the trailer hitch, and daggum, just as you can hear, it's terrible. But anyway, so we were Indian Creek's a real pretty rock too. I get a lot of people in the comments asking where I get that from, but there's not many places that has like true 1 to 2 inch. There's only one place around here that does, and but it's a really pretty rock, so it's definitely worth it. It's expensive rock though, but it's definitely worth the price. Oh man, I'm gonna have to back up again. Oh, no, I can get it. Oh, maybe. See if it rolls. Probably have to go up a little bit. Anyway. Did we go too much? Yep.
Well, it seems for some reason that the audio from this part of the video, at least hooking up the trailer, just seems to have disappeared for some reason. So I figured this would be a great opportunity, since I've been getting asked a bunch from some different people in the comments to talk more about the business. And of course, you know, I'll go into more detail in a different video and actually show some numbers and stuff. But for right now, I just want to talk about, like, you know, getting into it. Is it worth it? Is it not? And what we've kind of learned along the way. So at least in our area, I'm just going to be brutally honest up front and then go through everything. But there's just too much competition and not enough, you know, say you're the higher price in your market. Well, people are just going to price check 30 different people, and whoever's the cheapest, that's who they're going to do. Even though, you know, you know how to back up a trailer, you're not going to get in their yard, you're going to get it exactly where they want it. They're not going to have to worry about any of that stuff, you know. They're just wanting the material. So, you know, they're just going to go with the cheapest person who can get the material. Especially, you know, when it comes to dirt and stuff, you know, because most, like, fill holes and on the side of the road that's just dumping out fill dirt, you know, they won't just come out just to load one dump trailer. You know, you gotta either be getting like 5 or 6 loads, or you gotta be a dump truck. So, you know, for that, you gotta go to the landscaping yard. At least for us, we have to go to the landscaping yard and get fill dirt and topsoil and stuff like that. So some people that, you know, have their own dump trailer and have topsoil, fill dirt, they can do it a lot cheaper. Therefore, you know, they're going to be a lot cheaper than you are, even though, you know, you have the nice equipment, you got the experience, stuff like that. So as far as material hauling goes and everything, you know, it's just one of those, like, it's really hard to be profitable in. Like, it's profitable, don't get me wrong, but the consistent work, it's definitely hard to come by. You know, it comes in spurts, you know. One week you'll be booked out busy, and the next week you're going to be wishing that you could just get a job. You get a lot of questions but not a lot of jobs. What we've seen that we've made the most profit on, but at the same time people don't want to spend the money, is when it comes to decorative stone. A lot of people want to expect decorative stone, you know, river rock and pea gravel and stuff like that, to just be real cheap and everything, but in reality it's very expensive, at least around here. I know in Alabama you can get pea gravel for $20 a ton, $15 a ton. Around here it's pushing out $75 a ton. So, you know, that's where it becomes difficult, because it's a lot harder to be able to be lower on the price, you got to make money too. We try to stay around when we're doing. We have a little bit of a price sheet, but when we're hauling 5 tons, we like to make around $140 to $150 within our county. Outside of our county, we just charge however much more that is going to be for gas. But, dump trucks, some people are like, oh, that's high. But dump trucks, even though they're hauling more, yes, they are hauling more. But at the same time, they're anywhere from $200 to $300 just to deliver it, within their county. So, and you still have diesel costs, maintenance costs, dump trailer costs. You have a lot of costs, insurance, everything like that. So, you need to charge what you're worth. Don't just, charge the lowest. That way you get a ton of work, because then you're just going to end up driving yourself out of business and driving the market down. And the customers that you're going to get are not the customers that are, really great. They're not the customers that are like going to get you a ton of repeat business. I mean, they may, you never know. But for some of the people that's asking, like, should I get into the dump trailer business and stuff like that? I think yes, but not just for material hauling. We don't do any junk removal or rent our dump trailer for like a dumpster, anything like that. But the most successful I've seen people is whenever they do junk removal, brush clean out, stuff like that, and load up their dump trailer. That's what I see they do the most money in. We stay pretty busy doing material hauling. That's all. We don't want to do junk removal. We're actually looking into getting into hardscaping, patios, retaining walls, stuff like that. That's where our direction's heading. But if I will say though, if you're going to be hauling junk all the time, I would definitely look into getting 4-foot sides. Definitely recommend Hillcrest. But whatever you can afford, Hillcrest is definitely nowadays with the 7K axles, you could probably get a 40-inch side which is their 4-foot side for like 13 something. I know you can get cheaper out there, so really just whatever you can afford as far as that goes. But I really recommend Hillcrest. Ours has been amazing. Make sure to go watch that video. But you'll need the higher sides if you're wanting to do junk removal, stuff like that, because with the 2-foot sides we hauled off like a playhouse, and we could fit it in one load, but it was definitely a load. And then we hauled off a big chicken coop in 2 loads, but we could have done it in one load. Say we had a 40-foot side, but when we're hauling materials, we can see out our rear view window. We're never going to get overloaded at the pit, because you can't. We could get overloaded if they really heaped it on there with some dirt, but we don't really have to worry about it. I will want to say, if you can see right here in this video, things happen, but dude in the loader, he overloaded us in the back. We got 4 tons, and we probably had about 3 tons on our tail. It was bad. We were fishtailing like crazy. But we were at a red light, and we went to go take off, and we just sit there and did a burnout. It was rough. But anyway, there's a lot of things that go into it. You got to think about what your material cost is, and I highly recommend making a price sheet and staying true to that price sheet. Don't be like, if someone asks, hey, can you cut me a little deal on this? Like, no, you gotta stay true to your prices, because this isn't like a bargaining deal type thing. This is your price, and that's your price. And the only time that it's okay, in my opinion, to really give a discount is whenever you're doing, say you're doing 3-4 loads to this person, then you can give a little bit of discount. But other than that, just like our trailer can haul 12,800 pounds, so right around that 6-ton mark, but we only advertise for 5 ton. That way we don't have that extra wear and tear, even though it's our truck and trailer more than capable for hauling even over 6 tons. We've had it in there before. But that way, if someone asks for 6 tons, we can deliver 6 tons. But unless they ask, we're only sticking to 5 tons, 10 yards of mulch, or 8 yards of mulch. We do have sides whenever we're hauling mulch. If you've seen in some of our other videos, we have sides. But other than that, we stay true to, and 5 yards of dirt. We stay true to 5 yards of dirt as well. We don't haul 6 yards, even though we've had 6 yards before. But to come back on the question, I definitely would recommend getting into the dump trailer business. It's a fun business. It's fun going and getting the materials. It's fun going to the quarry. And I would recommend videoing too if you get into it, because people like to watch, like y'all are watching this right now. People like to watch this kind of stuff, and they like to watch especially the short videos of me dumping everything. Those seem to do really good, and they're fun. And it's also fun, you meet new people. We went the other day and bought some dirt off Marketplace for our house, some cheap topsoil, and we met a person, super cool kid, and just you make connections and stuff, and then eventually you're gonna have lots of people you do work with. Like I think Jack of all trades. I watch him a lot. He's a prime example of that. He does the junk removal, and then he got the stone grinder, and then he got the mini skid, and now he does the firewood and tree service stuff with the other dude, and he's got 3 dump trailers and a nice truck, and that's where you can go when you do the junk and everything. Of course, I think he's on the outskirts of Atlanta, so his clientele, he has hundreds of thousands of people, where we only have under 100,000 people in our general area, which you can go down to the city and there's probably about 1 million, but still, it's really dependent on your area and what people want to spend and what materials go in. Not all people can charge $140 and get any business. Some people, like there's a person in our county that's only charging like $75 anywhere in Bradley County, but he can only haul 2 tons at a time, so we're cheaper to go with us and do 4 tons, but people don't realize that, if they need 4 tons, we'll just use this guy twice, he's only $75, but in the long run, it's going to be $150, but, the numbers thing, we made back our money on our initial investment. We haven't, completely, that's just our gross make back, and we've been doing this for exactly a year. This is a complete side hobby, or not hobby, hustle. I'm in school and my dad has a job, full-time job. So we definitely aren't, fully hustling at this, but we're looking into going to the hardscaping and everything, and stuff like that. So, it's definitely, once you have a dump trailer, you can go into all kinds of stuff. You can rent a skid steer and do brush clean outs, haul off logs, anything like that. Anything you can think of with a dump trailer, you can do. I just recommend, whenever you do, to make sure you get a telescopic lift, and make sure you get good gauge floor and everything like that. But for sure, telescopic lift, because that makes the difference. You can be overloaded severely and still be able to dump it, or with the scissor lift, you're pretty much screwed over. But other than that, I recommend it. It's a fun business, and enjoy the rest of the video.
You okay? Oh, yeah, that'll get good.